Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. I want to mention to start off this video, for those of you who've been asking, that my help energy is also not worked. It only works in like small numbers, but if I try to hit help 10, it glitches and like shuts me out. So if your account is experiencing a bug with the help button, you are not the only one, and hopefully this video serves as a reminder for that. So I want to talk a few minutes today about cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is a fancy term you can Google that essentially means that every one of us human beings has preconceived biases that we don't even realize. Biases that help us anticipate for survivability, really, what someone's going to do or say before they say it. It's basically trying to be preemptive and pre-reactive, so you don't have to be post-reactive. If you're pre-planning, then you don't have to do a bunch of post-planning. And so there's a lot of people who just associate my channel and my name with negativity. They think that the only reason why I've been successful on YouTube is because I complain about Kabam and the game from time to time, and have for 6 years. Now, I will say, if you were to do the math, the majority of the videos that I have posted on this channel take no stance against Kabam whatsoever. They're just crystal opening commentary, reaction videos, my own crystal openings. They're just neutral. They're not positive or negative. They're just experiences that you have when you play the game. And I think that is essentially free advertisement for the game. When I talk about an Omega Days event, and especially if I praise it, Kabam often makes more money. But I know, and they have every right to be annoyed with me, I really think, over the years, that I've cost them countless amounts of money. I have cost Kabam maybe millions of dollars, especially at the height of this channel when I was really cranking out those offer reviews and we had so many people tuning in to listen. I influenced a lot of people whether or not to buy an offer, and Kabam hated that because, of course, they just benefit when everybody buys all the offers, regardless of if they're pro player or not. But I know how important money is, and my background is largely someone with a single mom, with triplets, with no college degree, and my mom never made more than $12,000 a year growing up, and she was the only parent in the household. We had our grandparents that were retired that helped, but they were poor and lived in a trailer park. So I say this to say I treat every dollar that people spend on this game with respect. And so when you give us an Omega Days event where people can spend up to these 400 points to get the 7-star champion Omega selector if they want, but this isn't going to break the game if you didn't make it to this. I'm going to take my Corvus to rank 3. I'm not bringing that guy into Battlegrounds. I still don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think right now with 0 charges that a rank 3 7-star Corvus would be the best attacker in Battlegrounds. Maybe against somebody like a Penny Parker, but I'd rather bring in a Hulkling that provides more of a defensive threat than Corvus does in Battlegrounds. Longshot and Mole God and Omega Sentinel, I think, are the best Battlegrounds champions, unless you are somebody who runs recoil masteries in Battlegrounds. But even if you do and you take advantage of Omega Red, and that could win you some matches, but I think you'll lose just as many matches as you'll win, because say you fight somebody like Dr. Doom, where you just spam those special ones to death and have him knock himself out, and you're not losing nearly as much health, and the fight is also going faster. So this event didn't punish the free-to-play players that couldn't make it this far, but if you wanted to spend as a free-to-play player 40,000 units or whatever on this event, you could, and you would get rewarded. But even if you didn't, there were so many great milestones from the beginning of this event. You open 5 crystals, you get 2 back. You open 10 crystals, you get 600 units back. You open 15 crystals, you get 2 more back, and the list goes on and on. You were just rewarded with more crystals and more units until eventually you got really good guaranteed value, because other than the units, there's no guaranteed value right now in the crystals. But by 50 crystals in, and look, I realize 50 crystals is a crazy amount, but a guaranteed 7-star for that is something Kabam should look to do. Now, I've been told in other games that I don't play that after a certain amount of crystals or whatever the loot box coding is in the game, you just get a guaranteed outcome. And Kabam doesn't want to do that because that's going to cost them money. But this is a version of that that's still RNG based But so it gives you some excitement or disappointment, like your mama who continues to get long shot every other crystal, and I'm sorry, mama, for that. But you do guarantee yourself a rarity, which is a 7-star. That's genius. And then, of course, if you want a guaranteed outcome, it's going to take 200 crystals. And hopefully by then, you have most of the champions between the 7-star crystals and those that are in there. And you have a guaranteed chance to awaken one of them with the awakening gem and put the 6 stones into them. So you're rewarding free-to-play players for hoarding units because the currency of this event was units. You are giving whales something exciting, but not so exciting that it's going to be the haves and the have-nots. If you want to do that, Negasonic Teenage Warhead's going to really be the champion you should have spent money on during this week, and that's why I had the hot take video this week where I said if you only can spend money on one thing this week, don't spend it on Omega Crystals. Spend it on the Early Access bundle if you have a Valiant access for the 6-star. Everything else is Omega Days was better, but for Valiant players, I still would argue that 6-star is going to save you, especially with all the annoying skilled defenders in Battlegrounds. Special shout out to Bullseye. And I'm excited to put her in my Battlegrounds rotation and in my Battlegrounds deck. And that's going to be a big help to me this month. But for now, we owe Kabam a huge thank you. When I saw this on paper, I thought, the average player is not going to want to spend 30,000 units, and I still think that's true for the average player. But I heard from people who only opened a couple of crystals, and they were happy with this event. They felt like they got their money's worth, even if the RNG crystal luck wasn't great. And then I heard from the whales, who thought they also got their money's worth. I don't think I heard from a single person who felt ripped off by this event. And on paper, it felt like a ripoff to me when I looked at it in the details and of the announcement of the event. So, in the end, I am not here to condemn Kabam, but to praise them. And I know this goes against people's stereotype of me with that cognitive dissonance where you're just waiting for me to be Mr. Negative. And while I can be Mr. Critical at times, I want to be Mr. Honest, not Mr. Negative. But, just like I've now leaned into the economy of the game, and the opening theme song for my live streams now is literally an AI-written version of the economy of the game in the lyrics, really taking this channel to the next level. And it's such a good song that it makes me feel like the quality of this channel doesn't match the quality of the song. So that's fun. But, I'm the white trash channel of MCOC, and I'm proud of it. And I'm still here after 6 years. So, somebody's got to be McDonald's, and I'm happy to do it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Kabam, bring this kind of event back. It was genius, and I couldn't have been more happily wrong.